Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Knit Chat Cafe. My name's Noelle.
I'm Kelly.
And we are a knitting podcast, Knits and Pieces, coming to you from Southwestern Ontario, Canada. I should say that because people might not know.
That's right.
Where Southwestern Ontario is. Anyways, we're coming to you from Canada. It's Tuesday night here at 7 o'clock. We'll give you our weekly weather report. It's kind of crowded.
Smoky.
Very smoky. It was funny because I said to Ross this morning, I said, like, is something burning somewhere? Like, I didn't clue in that it was from outside, but yeah, it was really
the
smoky
smoke
today.
is strong today. All of our windows are closed.
Well, I opened mine now because I always get hot when I'm talking here. So I opened
about
it for
yarn,
now.
the knitting.
Yeah, talking, just talking about knitting just gets me excited. So, and I see Julia has noticed that we are matching outfits again. Anyway, they're not exactly matching. They're different sweaters, just similar colors, kind of sort of the similar style.
And some similar elements. Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
we should ask, can everybody hear? Well, obviously you can see us. Can you hear us okay? Yeah, Mary noticed it too.
Yes.
No, we did not plan, Mary.
We never planned.
We never
planned.
Never planned. It's chilly here today too. It's cool. It's only 20 degrees. So
I don't think I've been outside of the
warm. No?
No.
It's unpleasant. And if you don't have to go out, you really shouldn't because of the smoke too. So
nope. I have all my little gym stuff set up downstairs. So I did body pump, but that was just downstairs, and it just Now tomorrow is supposed to be nice, so hopefully I can spend a good part of the day tomorrow outside.
Yes. So, looking forward to that.
Yep. Yeah. So
Connie wants to know if we have air conditioning. We do.
We do, but it's not on.
It's not on today. It's not warm enough today.
No, but when we get we did have ours on was it last week? It was hot not that long ago.
It was.
Saturday,
we didn't turn ours on.
We came back from Jacqueline's on Saturday, or I came back from Jacqueline's Sunday, and it was really hot because it was humid. And I like the air on just to kind of get the moisture out of the house. But it was quite humid. So yeah. So I don't know. Well, you went knitting.
Yes.
But not under the bridge.
No.
Just at the coffee shop. And I didn't go because I was in London. I went down on Friday and stopped at Little Red Mitten. And then I went on to Jacqueline's, and then I went back to Little Red Mitten for knit nights. And they have their inventory sale on where they were clearing out some things, and so I might have got a few things, but I forgot some of my yarn at Jacqueline's. Like this is
oh, the tragedy. Oh, the tragedy.
I forgot my yarn.
Nothing to knit, right?
Well, no, I didn't say that. I forgot my yarn. I forgot my raincoat. I had bought this big thing of shrimp that I was going to come home and make a shrimp pasta for supper that night. I forgot the shrimp. Like, anyway, here I thought it was all organized and had everything all together, but no, I didn't. So anyway, so I was at Jacqueline's because it was Zoe's first dance recital. And I don't know, I know some of you have been here right from the beginning when Zoe was beginning. Exactly, when Zoe was just a couple of months old. So I've just got a quick little clip here. It's just 8 seconds. So this was her first dance recital. So let me just find it here. I know I put it in here.
It's under videos.
Oh yeah, okay. There we go. So there you go. She's no longer that little 2-month-old baby sitting in my lap and She had a
She's
good
going to be
time at her
backup
dance
dancing for
recital.
Jennifer Lopez next week, I'm hearing. Yeah.
Yeah, she really liked her costume. She wished it had been purple. That was the only thing that would have made the costume better for her. But it was fun. They did a really nice job because the dance school broke it up so that a lot of the little ones were in one show where it was only like 15 numbers, so it was only 45 minutes long.
Oh, nice.
So because they wait backstage till it's over, so
that
was kind of nice. But yeah, so that was fun. We did that, and then we, had some people back to Jacqueline's after and had a little meal. And she wanted me to stay the next day. Ross went home, but I stayed till the Sunday, and Jacqueline and I went to a little market. And then I had said last week, Debbie Jameson of the Loving Path had a little open house in her backyard. So Jacqueline and I both went to that, and I'll show you what I got later, but I also talked Jacqueline into buying some yarn.
Yay.
Anyway, so she's going to start a sweater when we're going to a cottage with Jacqueline and Mike and Zoe. So she's going to start a sweater when we're up there, just a little summer top.
Good. Good.
Yeah.
Want to say good morning to Jo. She's in here tonight from a wintry, rainy Oamaru, New Zealand. She's wearing her Trinnigan for the first time. It just seems so strange when this is our first week of summer.
Yes.
It seems strange. Like, it's hard to imagine that there are other weather zones in the world that, you are only thinking about the weather zone you particularly happen to be in. Yeah. So,
although I tend to still be knitting winter sweaters. So that's because I like knitting winter sweaters. So.
Well, the thing is, excuse me, if we were, I don't know, better organized. Organized. We should be knitting the winter things now, because we should have already had our summer things knitted so that we're ready to wear it. And I got thinking about that today, and I think I'm a procrastinator. Because I put things off, or I think I can get them done. You are maybe a little bit of that too, because
I just like to knit what I want to knit.
Yeah, absolutely. But that's my new title. I'm a procrastinator.
So I do get things done, but not necessarily in the season that is most appropriate.
Absolutely.
But they do get done. So, okay. So
Mickey says that she knits winter sweaters all year as well.
Yeah, I do too, but I do knit some, but I'm finding that I've actually found a yarn that I really like for summer, and that's the merino linen that I really like working with. And so knitting summer sweaters and that is okay. The typical summer yarns, like the cottons and the linens, I don't particularly like working with them. So like, that's why that kind of gets put off. Although this one was nice in the Barocco remix, in the remix light. So there are some yarns that are nice, but this is still, it's certainly not. A lot of summer tops are still not, no matter what you make them out of, are not going to be something that you're going to wear when it's 90 degrees and humid outside.
No, absolutely.
So
that's right. So maybe we should, we're 8 minutes in. Could we start talking about the knitting?
We were talking about knitting. We were talking about how we like to knit winter things.
Oh, actually though, I want to talk about this. Connie says that they have Canada Smoke down in Louisville, Kentucky.
I know.
But also, just a couple of nights ago, I know, here I go, right back to the weather. I'm sorry. A couple of nights ago, we had some funnel clouds in the area. And I know that down in the Louisville area, you guys were under some severe storm warnings. So it's crazy. Yeah, it's that time of year for us. Summer is that that time of year where we see the crazy storms. So thunder and lightning, which I really like.
I don't.
Oh, I really do.
I did charge up my neck light the other night because I thought if the power is going out here and it's dark outside, I need my night light. Not my night light, my neck light.
Yes. And Kathy says that she has made a commitment to finish her whips and knit garments and take a break from knitting socks. So today she cast on socks. Way to go, Kathy.
Well, I totally realized this week that my rule about having to finish 2 things before I started something else was just not.
It's a ridiculous rule. I don't know who came up with that.
So I amended it. Actually, I tossed it. It's no longer in the rule book.
Good to hear. Good to hear.
Okay, so I think we have a little bit of admin. Kelly, you said you had something.
I did. I wanted to talk. I got sent in a a photo, which this was great because I don't know that it would have translated into if I had been reading it. So I'll show you first of all. I think I've mentioned these on here before. In fact, I'm positive I have. These are some little clips that I ordered on Amazon, and they are they come in a little packet. I can add the link to the show notes after the fact. But so what they look like, they're just a little flower, a little flower clip, and they kind of pop open. They're actually meant, I think, for paper. What I use them for is on the end of, we love our pony cords for sleeves and whatnot. So here's a sweater that has the pony cord in there. And so all I do is I hook that little thing through just so it can't slide out. Like if you have, like there are certain yarns that won't slide off of these cords, but there are other yarns that will. And this one's a little bit of a slippery yarn. So I put this on to protect it. Well, Sharon took it one step further. She came up with a great idea, and I'm going to show you this picture. So she, when I find the picture, she's upped the game of the little clips, and here it is. So what she does is she actually leaves an extra cable in there, like a knitting cable. And then in the little holes that you would use to tighten your cables, she puts a little light bulb stitch marker through, and then she puts the clip on her cable so that nothing can slide off. And that way, when she's ready to go back and knit it, all she has to do is pop out the little light bulb stitch marker and screw the needle back in. And I think that's a fantastic idea. Kind of sad I didn't come up with that myself, Sharon, but thank you so much for sharing that, because I have lots of extra cords. A lot.
I do not. I have so many things started on needles right now that I just, my cords are.
But if it's something that you're going to monogamously knit on, then you could leave it on a cable, and then it's really easy.
Cords, yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah, I think that's a fantastic idea. So thank you very much, Sharon, for sending in that photo and sharing that great tip with everybody else. And then there's another quick little tip that I'll talk about it later because it's on something that I want to show. So let's just carry on with that later.
I had a question about how to avoid getting holes under your arms. So what I do when you get to the point, and this is if you're doing top down, when you get to the point on the sweater where you are, this just does not want to stay in my ear. When you're getting to the point on the sweater where you've split for the sleeves, so it always tells you to put this many sleeves on a stitch holder, and then you're going to cast on, backward loop, cast on, usually backward loop, so many stitches. I always cast on 2 extra stitches. And then on my next row around, those 2 extra stitches, okay, the ones in the middle, okay, so you're going to have 1 stitch that's an extra stitch on one side, 1 stitch that's an extra stitch on the other side. So when you get to that stitch, you're going to knit that with the last stitch on the needle before you cast on. And that kind of tightens things up a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Then after that, when you go to pick up your stitches, when you're doing the sleeve, I pick up the number of stitches it said, but like when you're then, you're going across and then you get to the stitches that are on your cord, the stitches that have already been knit, I do those lifted increases. So when you're going around, your first lifted increases before the stitch. And when you get to the other side of those stitches, you do the lifted increase that you do after the stitch. And then on your next row around, you knit those stitches with the last stitch that you cast on. So all in all, you still have the same number of stitches that you were told to cast on, but you just kind of tighten things up right at the 2 points where you usually end up with the holes. So I don't know if anybody else has any other suggestions on how like to tighten things up there so that you don't get holes under there. But I find that that's worked quite well, because sometimes if you don't do that, that backward loop cast on is quite loose.
It
and
is.
when you get to that first stitch, it just seems like that's where all the extra slack seems to be. So if you knit that with the last stitch, it just tightens it up.
Yes. Well, I definitely always pick up extra stitches, usually 1 on either side. Sometimes I've even picked up 2. And then just in the first couple of rows, excuse me, it's going to be a smoky cough night. In the first couple of rows, I will decrease those stitches so I get back down to the count that I should be at. the one thing that I sort of bear in mind too, like that's what you're picking up for your stitches. Like seriously, if you think about it, so if you had an extra stitch or you were short a stitch, like it's not going to make or break the garment, right? So it's easy enough to make sure that I would prefer to have like a neat trim at the bottom, at the seam, more so than worrying about my stitch count. So then I just make sure that I will either increase or decrease back to where I need to be to get to the right count.
Yep. And there's been some comments here that there's quite a few different tutorials. If you go to like Roxanne Richardson or Chili Dog, or I'm sure Very Pink Knits has some too.
Yes.
And then I think you just have to maybe try some and decide what works best for you. Like I find the way that I do it now works best for me. And I have a lot less problem with tightening things up there. And then you do always have, because you've gone through and you've picked up stitches when you go around for the sleeve, you do actually have a little tail there usually. And if you do have something that's just maybe a little bit out of place, you can kind of just tighten it up when you're sewing in that end.
Yeah, I do that too. The odd time where I have had something left over, I make sure that I do leave a generous tail, because that's where I will go back in and I can sometimes almost create the stitches.
Yep.
I just had to do that on something recently, and I was trying to remember now what it was.
It's on your rocket tee.
It's on the rocket tee. Thank you. I knew it was on something that I recently did. There was one sleeve for some reason that just went haywire, and so I basically went in and I created some knit stitches in there. I can't find it at all now, even if I'm looking. So
yep. Okay.
All right.
So maybe we should talk about what we're wearing.
Okay.
Okay. I'll go first.
Sure.
Okay. I am wearing the outline tee by Jessie Made Designs. And I finished this one. I actually started it last year, but I finished it this year. This was a finish when I, had my rule of you have to finish 2 things before you cast on something new. So it
silly
did work.
Rule. Silly rule.
1 week. It did work for 1 week. So mine is done in Barocco Remix Light. And this is the mist colorway. So it's kind of like a grayish, greenish, tweedy. This yarn it's extremely soft. It's a combination of cotton. There's some linen in it. There's acrylic. There's no wool in it. So,
and it's recycled fibers too.
Yeah. It's very, it has a very nice kind of sweatshirty feel. And the Remix Light, it's classified as a DK, but it's quite a light DK, but it does knit up nice at like 22, 23 stitches. There is like over 400 yards or meters in a 100-gram skein. So there's lots of yardage. I think this didn't even take 1.5 skeins. So like it goes quite far. It's comfortable to wear. This, honestly, I've worn it, I think, twice. It hasn't even been blocked yet. I haven't even blocked it. Like the yarn just falls nice, and I enjoyed working with it. It feels nice to work with and knit with. And the vintage, the Barocco, the vintage does come. It's not the vintage remix.
Remix
comes in. They do have a chunky. They have the DK, and they have just like an Aran, which I think is just called Remix.
Now I have to ask, and I know I already know the answer, but just for everybody else, did you shorten up that V-neck?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yep, I did, because I would not feel comfortable wearing it where it was on the pattern. Because like right at the moment with this, I just have my bra on under it. If I had one that came down to here or something, you'd really have to wear something.
You would have to wear something under it.
And if you're going to wear it in warmer weather, it's kind of nice if you don't have to put an extra layer underneath it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yep. So that's what mine is.
Okay. And I am wearing the, where did it go?
I got it.
Oops. The Deshane by Layla Raven. I made this sweater a few years ago now. Oh, there we go. And I like it because it has the lace work at the front. I used the Godifera Arborea yarn, which is a chain ply or a chain construction yarn That was my first time using it. I thought it was going to be tricky to knit with. It wasn't at all. My issue with the sweater is that I ran out of skeins. I was one short, and by the time I could source one, I couldn't get anything near the same dye lot. So you do see a little bit of a striping on the sleeves, and you can see it a bit on the back too. I did alternate skeins, but because it's not knit in the round, each alternating, it was 2 rows. So it almost looks like slightly micro striped, but I'm still okay with it. And I tend to wear this one over jumpsuits or dresses. And today I'll grab this picture because it's chilly today. And I thought, you know what? And I'm in my basement, so it's always chilly. So I grabbed this photo of what I'm wearing. I am wearing it with this very long dress that I got from the Gap. And the nice thing about the Gap dress, and I was showing it earlier to Noelle, is that it's just like, and I'm not going to lift my sweater, but it's just a little, like a spaghetti strap dress. And it has that built-in shelf bra, which isn't always the greatest support, but if you're wearing it underneath the sweater, I find it's completely fine. And then I finished off my lovely outfit because I was chilly with these cozy socks on the bottom. Like there's an outfit absolutely everybody would love to leave their house in.
That's your first day of summer outfit.
First day of summer outfit. Yeah. All the wools. But one thing I guess I can talk about too is since I had the socks on, I thought, what the heck, let me show the socks off. And oh shoot, where did my picture go? Do you see a sock picture in there?
I am not looking at pictures at the moment.
Okay. So. I know where it is. I left it on my desktop then. I thought I brought it in here. Hold on one moment. I'll bring it in. So the socks that I'm wearing actually is the, there we go. It's the Shell Cottage socks by Helen Stewart. And this was part of one of her
sock societies.
Yes, Handmade Sock Society. And I used the Akara yarns in this one, and it's her merino sock, very, very soft. And the colorway is Frozen Berry. And doesn't that really look like Frozen Berry? I like it. So it has this fun little shell construction. And I have to say, that little shell stitch is probably one of my all-time most used little detail that I will add. If I don't want to add a cable into socks, I often do like a little detail of 2 purl stitches, the little shell stitch, and then 2 purl stitches. And I will run that down the side of a foot. I have used that again and again and again, probably on no less than 10 pairs of socks. So that was well worth the pattern money to get that little shell stitch and find out how it worked in socks. As far as these socks, it makes for a very dense fabric. Like they're super cozy. Sometimes I almost find the top of the sock is a little too thick to wear, like in lighter shoes. I have to wear it in boots, but for wanting to be warm and cozy, they are the perfect socks. So I do wear them a lot.
Okay, there was a question from Lauren here about whether or not it's difficult to raise the V-neck. Lauren, this pattern was bottom up. So like when I got to the point and I kind of knew how long I wanted my sweater, and I think they wanted you to start the V like about here, I just kept knitting longer until I started the V. And then I kind of adjusted my, my decreases for the neck, because the way theirs was, it started down here and it went out quite wide. So I just did less decreases because I didn't want the neck to go out that wide. And I mean, all you have to really worry about, I believe on this one, the back was pretty much straight across, and you 3 needle bind off your shoulder seams. So all you have to make sure that you worry about is that your shoulder seam on both your back and the front is the same number of stitches, so that when you do the 3 needle cast off, you've got the same number on each side. But yeah, so you can just, you know, bring it up to where you think it's going to be okay for you. Same thing if you're going, a lot of times if you're doing a V-neck top down, I believe that the rocket tee is V-neck top down, correct?
Yes, it is.
So you would just kind of have the back and the front. You just kind of have to lay it on you and see where you want it to go. And if it's going to be, and I think more so when you're going top down, you're going to have to figure it out sooner, because you're going to have those, in the case of going top down, you're going to have increases till you get to the V to where you join it. So if you want the V to be up higher, you're going to have to do a faster rate of increase to get to your required number of stitches across. So you kind of have to do a little bit of sweater math to figure it out that way. So, and that's where, when you're doing that, where your row gauge is important, because you're looking at the length as opposed to your stitch count across. So
yeah. Oh, Marg made the socks as well that I'm wearing. It's a fun pattern. It was a really fun pattern. Helen Stewart, she actually writes really great patterns. She does a lot of shawls too.
yeah. Okay. So Kelly, do you have any FOs?
No.
Neither do I.
Put this one in your calendar, friends. Noelle didn't have an FO.
In like about 5 or 6 weeks that I haven't had any FOs. I'm
Yes.
like, and that was after I made that rule where I have to finish 2 things. So I did not finish 2 things.
We knew that we wouldn't have an FO because we got together yesterday for a little chit chat and with knitting, of course. And we knew that we weren't going to have an FO. So we decided instead, what the hey, let's give something away. So we're going to give away a beautiful summer bag. This is one of our, personalized bags that Sandy made for our podcast. Much loved bags. And they're very, very big, roomy. They have a big bottom. So you can take lots of knitting. You can even take your knitting to the beach in these bags.
And it's great to have a big bag like that when you go to a yarn festival, because somehow or other it gets filled.
It gets filled. Sometimes you have to empty it and go back in. Right. But anyway, she has, her bags are beautifully made. So we actually have a couple, because don't worry, we're going to save one for the people after the show too. Right. So we've got 2 summer bags. We're sticking with a theme, friends. This one is all about the summer bags, bag. So this one has some cute little handbags on there. And then this one has cute little handbags too, but they're just a little more vintagey looking.
Yep.
Really, really cute. So let me cue up the old draw here. We haven't done this in a while. So I'll share this. There we go. Oh, I have to go out and do something first. Sorry. Start collecting comments or it won't work. All right. So type in #summer if you are interested to get your hands on one of these really cute bags from Queen Sandy. And we'll let this go for a little bit. And then we will do the lovely little spinning wheel and see who can come up with a winner. Yeah, there we go. I know it's working now.
I know my bag that Sandy made us for Montreal. I use that all the time. Like that's what I took my knitting in when I went to Jacqueline's. Even though I thought I was organized, when I went to Jacqueline's, I took a couple of projects with me, and I meant to take my socks. Totally forgot the socks, so I didn't work on socks.
Well, it's great because you can fit lots of projects in these bags.
Lots of projects. I think I had, because I actually even brought my Starry Night that I'm knitting from a cone. I even put the holder and the cone right in there and brought that on with me. Well, that's what I brought to the coffee shop the other day too. I brought my
that's right.
My holder for my cone and brought the cone with me and brought the whole thing right into the coffee shop. So it was
perfect. We could live out of that bag for an entire weekend. They are massive bags.
Well, we could, as long as we weren't going to a yarn festival.
As long as we weren't going to a yarn festival. Yeah, absolutely. And you know what though? Like yesterday at the coffee shop when we got together, I was having the morning that you had the weekend a few weekends ago. I brought 3 projects to the coffee shop. First one, I lost a stitch marker. So I don't know where my beginning of row is. I have to like tink back a little bit and fix that. So it was not very well lit in the coffee shop. So I said, okay, I'm putting this one away. And then I pulled out a sock that I was going to work on, but I just wasn't feeling it. And it required some paying attention that I wasn't down for. So I said, okay, I'm going to put that one away. And I reached in the bag and oh, hey, I had a 3rd project in there. So I did find something to work on, but it's nice to have options. You know, sometimes we just don't know what we're going to want to work on when we get there. And I do find right now, I don't have any particular project that is something that I don't actually need a pattern or have to pay attention to. Generally, I have something on the go, AKA socks, that is something that I've pulled out of my head. So I don't ever need a pattern, but I actually don't have anything like that going on right now. So, yeah. All right, so we'll let this roll just for a little bit longer. I still see some people are adding names in. Okay, yes, Haley,
Okay,
thank
you
you.
only need to add your name once because it only recognizes, it doesn't recognize repeat entries. So you only need to put your name in there once, or your hashtag in there once.
Yes,
So,
yeah, your hashtag in once. And,
yeah. So
okay, just a few more seconds. Oh, and I did mention too, so afterwards, if you're not the successful winner right here in the next few minutes, then we are going to do the second bag, and we will leave the you can just go in after the podcast is over tonight. And if you go below the podcast, after you hit the like button, please, then leave us a comment and let us know what you're knitting on this summer.
yeah.
And we will do a draw just before the podcast next week, next Tuesday.
Yeah,
And
for
we
that
will
one,
draw for that.
you don't have to put in hashtag, just put in what you're knitting this summer.
Absolutely.
And we'll go from there. So,
and on the I've lost my train of thought. On the train of thought of
we will not ever contact you. Is that what you were going to say?
No, but that works too.
We will not ever contact you through, we will not message you. Okay. If you win, it's either right on here tonight, or when we do it next week, we will actually announce that next week on the podcast and give you the information so you can contact us.
Yes.
So,
yes.
Okay. And
also, I wanted to say too, this was pretty funny because when we came in here tonight and we first made the comment that we're like, oh, hey, we're dressed similarly again this evening. And then she says, oh, did you get the giveaway tool queued up? And I said, I did. And she goes, what's your hashtag? And I said, it's hashtag summer. No way. She says, that's what I was going to say too. It's just funny. We think too much alike for sure.
Okay. We do actually go some places where we finish each other's sentences.
So I said, must be time to get new friends. We know everything about the other one. We don't even have to talk anymore. Okay, so we're going to wrap this up.
Yep.
And let me go into the tool. Good luck, everybody.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. We have 225 entries in here right now. And here we go. Slowing down. Trudy. Congratulations, Trudy.
Congratulations, Trudy.
Let me just, if Trudy, here's where you can reach out to us.
I was looking for it.
There we go. You can reach out to us at knitsandpiecespodcast@gmail.com. And send us your full name and address, and I will be happy to pop that in the mail. And that's what I meant to say earlier on the train of thought of the mail. All gifts have been mailed out today. I know that I got behind, but everything that we've done in the last few weeks went off to the post office today. So watch your mailboxes. Okay. Take that out, bring us back.
Okay, so we don't have any finished objects, but we do have some things that we're working on.
Yes, absolutely we do.
Kelly, what are you working on?
I have a couple of things.
I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Okay, you start then.
Okay, well, I am working on my sock, even though I forgot to bring it, so I didn't get as much done on it as I'd like to. So this sock is the Down the Rabbit Hole sock. Just let me bring up a banner here. Never wants to cooperate with me. So this is Down the Rabbit Hole by Pearlescent. So this is done in Timber Yarn's Marled sock yarn. This is the brown leaf colorway. So it's kind of a really nice kind of gold color. And it's got a slip stitch design that goes around the whole sock. So I'm kind of at the point now, I've got to do a little bit more before I do the heel, but you have to kind of position the heel so that you break this up in the right spot. So I'm going to have to read the pattern a little bit before I get into where the heel goes. But I really like the pattern. I like how it's working up. It's kind of just like a nice little addition to a striped sock. And this is a free pattern on Ravelry. So I think it's a really neat pattern. Now, one thing that I will say, I do think that this pattern does bring the diameter of the sock in a little bit. So
I would think it would too.
A little bit of the stretch out of it. So I'm hoping it's going to be fine once I block it. It fits me fine, but I know if it's for one of the girls, it has to be a little bit bigger. But I think if I put it on the blocker and block it, it should be okay. Because that's the 64 stitch sock, and I'm doing it on 2.25 millimeter needles. I like to start the sock just with a little hint of the other color at the cast on round and then move into my blocks of color. So I think like this would work really well with a Felice yarn, or I don't know. I think it really shows up nicely in the self striping. I'm not sure how much it would show up if you had a variegated, you might lose it. So I don't know, but it's really fun, and it's kind of more fun than just doing a plain vanilla sock, because apparently I have trouble with those. So anyway, so I will hopefully remember where I go this week to bring that with me and work on it some more. Because once I get past the heel, I'll be able to do it again without having to really look at it too much, because the pattern's pretty easy to see and follow.
Okay, good. I forgot to do this. So I'm just going to like back up a second.
Okay.
The bags. Sorry. Trudy, let us know which, since you were the winner first, you get to choose which one you would like. So we'll have, this will be modern handbags or vintage handbags. If you want to just pop that into the comments, then I will get your choice mailed out to you. Noelle, what color is that marled?
It's called brown leaf, but it's not really brown. It's more of a goldy color. It's called brown leaf.
Okay. All right. I am working on my hedgerow socks using Roots and Rain. I love this yarn. We've talked about it. She had an update on the weekend. Hopefully, I know that there were some people in here that were successful in getting some, because I was getting some messages over the weekend. Yay, I got my Roots and Rain. So what I'm working on, the hedgerow socks, is I'll show you a finished picture of what they will look like when they grow up. Not hedgerow socks. Don't listen to me. It's the Unity socks.
Like,
I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't know. So they are called Unity by Nina Tanscanon, and they are glorious. That's what I have to say. I don't know why I thought they were called the hedgerow socks. But anyway, I'm really enjoying them. So this is the yarn. This is her Trillium sock base, which is a limited edition, the Trillium. And this is using the indigo. The indigo does turn my fingers a little blue, but it washes off very, very easy. I don't mind at all. It's not like I'm walking around with stained blue fingers. I just go to the sink, give a little rinse with some soap. Look at the beautiful, absolutely beautiful stitch definition in these socks. This is amazing. I can't speak enough to this. So this, I'm making the smaller size. I'm a ladies 8.5. I'm making the smaller size. So it's 50 stitches. It's a paid for pattern. It was in the 52 weeks of sock book, but you can buy that pattern on Ravelry as well. But I am obsessed with these. If these were done, they would be on my feet today, because these are the perfect cozy socks. Yeah, it's such a pretty pattern.
Especially because it's how many stitches?
50.
So are you on a bigger needle?
I am on a 2 point, excuse me, a 2.75. I started on a 2.5 because when I spoke to Donna, she said that she uses a 2.5. So I did this down to about here on a 2.5.
Okay.
Excuse me. But then I started to get concerned. And so I needled up to the 2.75 that the pattern called for. I honestly can't even see the difference. I don't know if any of you can. Gosh, I'm so sorry. Oh.
It looks gorgeous. So, and have you tried it on?
I have.
Okay. Well, then that's all that matters, as long as it fits.
Which brings me to the next thing that I want to talk about. If I can talk. One of the little tricks that I have is, again, talking about the pony cords that we have. where are my 9-inch sock needle knitters? So if you are a 9-inch sock needle knitter, then you recognize that it's almost impossible to try your socks on without popping some stitches off those needles, right? So all I've done is I've cut a short piece of my cord and I just keep it in my notions pouch. So when I want to try the sock on, I just pop that onto the ends of the needles and then I try my sock on. And then if a stitch pops off onto the cord, everything is contained. Or if I want to show it on a sock blocker, as I just did. So that's a handy little thing that I do. And I always make sure that I've got these short little pieces of cord around. So again, thank you, Donna, for the amazing yarn that you dye for us to knit with, because we absolutely love it. And I'm having so much fun with that pattern. I'm not anticipating that I'll have a lot of use for them this summer, but they are going to be super cozy. Well, yeah, we hope. We hope for sure.
Warm, so.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I will show my Roots and Rain project that I'm working on too. So this is Glacier Ridge. And this is
gorgeous.
This is by Jennifer Wood, and this is also done in Roots and Rain yarn. So this is the Roots and Rain Storm Decay. So I've got it done. The only thing I've got left to do is the sleeves. And again, this is not something that I'm going to be wearing anytime soon. But like again, like look at how the cables just pop in the yarn. So this yarn is a blend of Cormo and Merino. So it's a Corey Del Merino cross. And so the skein is so big, and this is a DK yarn, but there is, where is it here? 383 yards in one skein. And so all of that is done with the body. I've still got that much left of the two skeins that I was working with, and I just have the sleeves left to do. And this color is called Black and Logwood. So it's a blend of the two to make the color, because all of her yarns are naturally dyed. So this pattern, I really, really like the pattern. I did not, in this case, I did not adjust the V. The V was actually at a perfect point in the pattern that I liked. I love the detail, how the cable goes up around the neck and the edge just kind of rolls under. The only modification that I did make was down at the bottom. They kind of switched you to a rib that was like not even, like it wasn't a knit 2 purl 2, and I wanted to be able to do a tubular cast off, so I just adjusted mine so that it would be a knit 2 purl 2 rib at the bottom so that I could do the tubular cast off. And the bottom pattern continues around the back of the sweater too, and I've tried it on. It's perfect length. It'll be a great sweater for this coming, who knows, maybe it'll go to Rhinebeck.
Nice.
Anyway, the pattern, I love the pattern. I love the shoulder detail. It's kind of like your contiguous sleeve method. And like I said, the yarn feels amazing. And we did have some questions about the softness of the Roots and Rain yarn. And this DK is amazing. It's the only one that I've worked with so far, so I really can't speak to the others, but this just feels like unbelievable. There is no rustic or itch factor at all that I feel in this. It just feels really nice. So, and that's
saying something for me, because I am not the lover of things rustic, as we know. And when I first got my Roots and Rain, my sock yarn, I just fell in love with it. And then when we got to see her at the Kawartha Yarn Festival, and then she brought so many beautiful bases. And I think between us, did we get every base? I think maybe.
I know we got the Storm DK, we got the Trillium, I got the BFL.
I got more field sock.
From the DK.
The Kindred. I got the Kindred. Yeah.
So well, I didn't get the Kindred, but I think like I got most of the ones that were I don't know. We got a lot.
We got a lot.
We got a lot. So
we got a lot. And anyway. I hope you had a really good shop update too, Donna. I did have a peek in there around 11:30. It looked like the field sock. There wasn't a lot of field sock left. So I hope you had a really good weekend with your shop update. Donna told us that it's going to be her last update, I think, until the fall now, because this is where she takes the time to harvest or grow and harvest her plants that she uses for the dyeing. And I'm just excited to see what she's coming up with in the fall.
Yep. So
maybe by then I'll be ready to buy like another armload of yarn. And it's like, because the skeins are so big and plump. I mean, seriously, I've knit almost a sock and I still have this massive skein of yarn.
like, look, my whole sweater's done except for sleeves, and I haven't even used the first 2 skeins.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, anyway.
Connie said that she got some of the Trillium also in the red onion skin. Oh, that's a beautiful color with the chestnut and the Eastern Brazil wood.
Onion skin, the chestnut and the Eastern Brazil wood, and it's kind of like peachy corally. It's gorgeous.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So, okay.
Just laughing at Julia's comment. She said, if you wear that one at Rhinebeck, you'll need to make a little card to hand out because you're going to be stopped. Yeah, it is. It's a showstopper sweater. It's really, really beautiful.
I really like it. And it's nice that because sometimes I find DK like a hot sweater, but because this has so much yardage, you don't have that weight. It doesn't feel like a super heavy sweater. So,
Okay.
So
I'm trying.
Do you want me to show another one while you're?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay. I've done a little bit of work on my Starry Starry Night, and I've been thinking about this one, right? Because it flares out, right? So it's going to be like an A-line, but I was thinking I have enough yarn. I could make this into a dress.
You absolutely could.
So I'm really thinking it would be cute, especially with the flare out. And then the bottom hem is just a fold up hem. And I mean, I'm knitting it in the Holst yarn super soft.
Yes, I think you have enough yarn.
Done, and I still have like all of this left, like all this super soft left. And I don't know, it is a test knit, so I'll have to talk to Beth, but I think that would be a super cool like dress for the winter season.
I think so too.
Nice and light in the
and
just the fact that it's already in the A-line shape.
Yes, and it'd be like the perfect dress to throw on with tights and blundstones. Yeah, definitely. Yes. So anyway, I somehow don't think Beth is going to have a problem with that.
So well, still, it is a test knit, so I will ask her.
Yes,
and then if she says that no, I can't, I'll just have to like quickly cast it off and then
cast it back on. Do a provisional cast off, and then you just hop back on and finish the rest of the dress.
I must have taken the banner out, but this is Starry Starry Night. It's by Beth McDonald Stone, and it is not out yet, but it will be coming out. I believe she said, I think the test was for sometime in August, so it should be coming out in lots of time for the holiday season. So yeah, I think I just thought I've got that much yarn anyway. I think it would make a really cool dress. So.
Heck yeah. Okay, I'll try to do this
evening dress.
Evening dress, yes.
I probably do. For my height, I probably do have enough to make it into an evening dress.
So I don't know where I was last week when I showed this, but I'm working on the cravat tee, and I really don't remember where I was. I have split for sleeves though, so I know I wasn't there.
That's so pretty.
It's really nice. I love this pattern. So it is the Cravat Sweater by Caitlin Hunter, Boylan Knitworks, and I am using the Cicero yarn by Malabrigo, and it's a gorgeous yarn. It has
it is
mulberry silk in it. It's a DK weight. It feels amazing. Like it doesn't feel even like yarn. It just feels like something you really want on your skin. It's soft. And then my coordinating color work is Tides by Holst, and it's the colorway Pearl. This colorway, the purple, I think it's Wales Road, 247 Wales Road. But it has beautiful lace, which you can't really see in this color at this point, but I have no doubt that it's going to open up and show the lace because, see, when I hold it against my skin, you can definitely see the lace in there. So I think it will really open up beautifully. And it's gorgeous. And this, we've talked about this. Noelle has already made one. And I saw this first on Lisa from Unwind and Knit with Me. I was going to say Cast on Every Stitch, but it's Unwind and Knit with Me, Lisa. And hers was stunning. And then Noelle cast one on right away and finished it. And then there's this. And I couldn't be happier with it. I haven't tried it on yet though, but I'm sure it's fine. I meant to do that. This is the one that I lost my beginning of row stitch marker. So maybe by next week it'll be done because there's not that much left to do on it. It is a crop sweater. So there's literally just a little bit to do on each sleeve. And I think there's 3 repeats and I'm halfway through the first repeat on the body. So it's coming along.
So I am also using the Cicero, and mine is this color, and the makeup of the yarn is really stunning. It's 50% mulberry silk, 25% merino, and 25% linen. So it just feels like
amazing.
So let me see. I've got a picture of this top.
Sharon, I did see yours. Sharon put her FO using the Cicero in our Smash That Stash. And yes, I went in last week and I looked at it and it's gorgeous. I liked it right away. Or did the little heart thing on Ravelry. It's beautiful.
Okay, so this is the sweater that I'm doing in this. And this is the Amatha Somer top by Carrie Ann Holgim Schirmer. Anyway, so not a problem, but this pattern is only in Norwegian, but I really liked it and it's what I wanted to do with the yarn. So I bought the pattern, I put it through Google Translate, and I'm getting there. It's not as easy because just sometimes some things in the language don't translate.
Yes.
But I have and
yes, it's not a problem that the pattern is in Norwegian. The problem is that Noelle doesn't speak Norwegian.
I don't speak Norwegian. So I do have it started. So you can kind of see
so nice. I love it.
The lace detail. Love it. And you can kind of see how the back and the front kind of form like they go out like this in a V. So I kind of got a cord in there just so you can kind of see. So I actually had this, I had the rib done and I had a couple of rows done, and I pulled it out because I didn't like how the increases were going along here. And that was the part in the pattern that I really couldn't understand. Like the way it was written just didn't make sense. But there was a new top that just came out this week that is by Kelborn Woolens in their Seasons of Sweaters. And I should have put it in here and I forgot, but it's the shape of the sweater is very much like this. The lace detail around the sleeves is different, but I went into that pattern. It is a free pattern. I went into it and I just followed their instructions for how they're doing the increase in the raglan. So I'll put that one in there next week. Like it was a little bit different gauge, the one that their sweater is. And by the way, they're doing this Seasons of Sweaters where they're going to have a new sweater pattern come out at the beginning of every season for a whole year. So it's going to be 4 free sweater patterns.
They did that with the hats, but they had a hat every month, right?
Yeah. So the first one is out already and it came out the first day of summer. But like I said, the shape is like this. So I went in there and I was able to follow their increases for the V. So, I mean, now I just have to do this till it gets to a certain point, till I have so many stitches on the front and on the back. And then I'll have to see if I understand the next thing for doing the sleeves and going down. I mean, I know once I get to the body, I'll be fine because the body's just like straight down. So anyway, I'm loving it. I love the yarn. I am going to roll up this skein and alternate though, because I don't want to take any chances. So I've got this much done. I know what I'm doing now. And because the detail in the lace, there's purl stitches, I will just switch my yarn at one of the purl stitches.
Right.
But I do want to get in there with a second skein just in case there is. Because sometimes you don't necessarily see the difference when you're looking at it, but you can see it if you all of a sudden put in a new skein. So
I'm alternating too, but I didn't alternate until I got down to the sleeve split because of the color work in here. Right. I thought it kind of masks a lot, but honestly, like this whole section has been alternated here, and I can't see.
Yeah, and I don't think when I hold those two together, like they look pretty close, but
they look really close. Yeah.
I just don't want to take any chances. So
Julia wants to know if Cicero would work for the Surrey shirt. It's that's a thicker yarn.
It's a thicker yarn. You'd probably have to do a smaller size. So
have to do some knitting math.
Yes.
But
I mean, yeah, it has got nice drape in that, but it is like my gauge for this one is 22 stitches, and I believe the gauge for the Surrey was 26. So you would have to do a little bit of math to figure out what you were going to do, because I think to knit that at 26 stitches, it would be pretty stiff.
It would be, yeah.
And you would lose a lot of the drape.
And what needle are you working on in that sweater?
I'm on a 3.75.
Okay, and I'm on a 3.5, which is gonna end up giving us almost an identical fabric because
Right.
she's a little bit of a tighter knitter than me, so we
Yeah.
we will end up being pretty close. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Are you working on anything else?
Um, no, not anything that's like that I've done any significant amount of work on. So we'll just say I'm just plodding along, but I've got to get something finished because
I do too.
Noelle's
But
got my hit list, right?
I did start something else.
Did you really?
Yes, I did. So first of all, I'll show you. Okay, so this is just a picture. I had this much done. Like that just shows kind of like the neck with the picot edge. But I had this much done and I ripped it all out.
Uh-oh, what happened?
Okay, so this is, first of all, this is the Calypso sweater by Black Cat Knitting Company.
Okay.
And yeah, there's the picture of the sweater. This is by let's see if I can find the banner. Where's the banner? Can you, oh, there it is. So it's Black Calypso by Black Cat Knitting Company. And this is Black Cat Knitting Company is Alana, who owns Lupine in Auckland, New Zealand. So I actually got that skein of Spin Cycle at her store, and it was a
I was
special.
wondering why she looks so familiar. Now I know why. That's right.
It was a colorway that was dyed specifically for her store. So when I
Right.
was there, I picked up one skein of it, but I only had one skein. So if we go back and look at my pictures, like here. So what I decided was when you start that sweater, all of this top part, all the top part is done in the spin cycle, right? So I knew
Right.
I only had one skein. I knew if I did that, I wouldn't have enough yarn. And plus the yarn that I had paired this with, this is the Cornmeal that Ross brought me back from Montana. And it was
Okay.
just a little bit thick. So I pulled all that out and I started again. And this is where I am.
Oh, wow.
So this is so what I did, and again, I knew it was going to be really close on the spin cycle yarn. So what I did with the cast on is I cast it on in the base color, and then when I got to the picot round, then I started in with the spin cycle. So that saved, like a bit of yarn there that I wasn't doing in
Sure,
the spin
absolutely.
cycle. So my yoke is totally done, and here, that's what I had left. Right.
Perfect.
That's what I had left of the spin cycle. And I'm much, much happier with this yarn with it. This is so that's just one skein of the spin cycle, and that's how it faded. But like I love it. I love the color.
Beautiful.
This looks so, I don't know, it just looks perfect for this pattern. And I thought it's her pattern. It's the yarn dyed for her store. Like it just made sense to put it
Meant to
together.
be. It was
Pattern.
meant to be.
Meant to be. And my background yarn is, I'm in love with it. I've never worked with this before. It's from Queensland Collection, and it's their Kathmandu fingering. This is 85% merino, 10% silk, 5% cashmere. And this is a fingering weight yarn, but it's kind of like the Roots and Rain. It's woolen spun. It's just soft and squishy. And
Are you getting fingering tension or are you getting more to a sport?
no, oh, that's another thing. Ross helped me. You reminded me. Ross helped me pull back the first one, right? I had to rip it out. So he was rolling up one of the skeins and I was rolling up the other. And I said, I'm going to start it again. So when I went to do this, I just said, maybe I'll do a swatch. And he goes, no, you won't. And I'm like, okay. If you said, no, you won't, here you go. Here's my swatch.
Oh my goodness. Say it isn't so. Noelle swatched.
So anyways, I did a swatch, and this is a fingering weight yarn. The tension for the pattern is 23 stitches. So I'm actually on a 4mm needle. So no, like I prefer fingering usually at like a 24 or 25. So this is giving me a looser gauge, but it's quite a plump fingering. And I mean, I think I've barely used half of the first skein of this yarn. So
Very
but
nice.
I mean, it feels amazing. I'm loving the feel of that yarn. And I mean, I know spin cycle yarn is expensive, but if you can do something where you only use like one skein of it.
But there are some options.
Yeah, there
There
are.
are definitely some options that you could substitute in there. One of the ones is I don't have it. I thought it was beside me, but it's one of the yarns that we can purchase at Little Red Mitten, and that's the Shopal Edition 3.
Yep.
It's similar. It has
Well,
that
and even in
same
something
design.
like this in fingering weight, you could just use like the Shopal wool Zauber ball,
Yes.
the fingering weight one. And like I would say
Or-
this spin cycle is quite a bit thinner than this other yarn, but blended with the two together, it works out fine.
Mhm.
So
I was going to say you could even do something like these too, right? From Full Moon Fiber,
yep,
right?
yep.
So there's definitely options.
But I
Definitely
just
options.
this
But it's like you said, when you can
down.
use a yarn that you are very interested to use, but you can use it sparingly and get
Yep.
big effect with it, then it
Yeah.
makes it a much more cost-effective project for sure.
And like for this, it was like a souvenir from New Zealand.
Yeah, that's right.
So, but yeah, I just, and again, color work, it's like, I just want to get to the next row. I just want to do the next row. And then when you've got color work and a color changing yarn, it's like, I just want to see the next thing.
I know. I just want to knit to the next color changes. And then you
right.
want to knit to, I know it's bad. And I wish that you would stop finding sweaters that I really like so much, because then I feel I want to do them. And we try to not do the same sweaters, but darn it, I like the things that you find. So,
but the thing is, if you do the same sweater in different yarn or different colors, they don't look the same.
no.
So,
no.
and it's nice to see that, because like, as you said, neither one of us really cared for the original pattern of the cravat, the yarns that it was done in. I mean, and lots of people did, and everybody's taste is different, but we didn't until we saw it done in something else.
That's right.
Right. So everybody's taste is different. Everybody likes different things. It would be boring if we were all knitting the same thing.
Absolutely. And can we just talk for a moment about the new sweater that came out from Caitlin Hunter this week, the Alpine Bloom?
And my yarn for that is in London.
Oh, no.
The yarn that I forgot.
So you mean I could actually cast that one on first then?
That's why I had to start this one.
Oh, gosh. I love that sweater. I absolutely love that sweater. I love that detail at the sleeve. And while we are talking about things that we've seen this week that we love, let me just get rid of that banner for a moment. And then this happened. Like, my goodness, look at this. So this has been popping up.
I know. It is gorgeous. I love it. Love it.
Love it. I already know what I'm knitting this in. It's not out yet, but it's coming out, and it's called The Field Sweater by Camilla Vad. And it's a DK sweater. So I'm already thinking my Holst Coast held with Titicaca, because that's what I did my Kutar tee in, and it is the perfect DK weight. And I love the fabric of that sweater, and I love the temperature of that sweater, if that's a thing. Like when I wear it, it feels so comfortable on skin, because the Coast is 50-50, close enough. It's a 45-55, but we'll call it a 50-50 cotton wool. So it's very light. It breathes well. And then the Titicaca is a baby alpaca. And so you get a little bit of the fluff, but it's not the like fluff like a mohair, because a lot of people are like, ooh, mohair, I'm not doing that. But the Titicaca is just amazing. Amazing. So that's where I'm headed.
Okay. I know there's so many things. There's so many things I want to knit. Have to knit faster.
I know. Can we clone ourselves? Could we make some knitters? I don't know. But then I would, even if we could just clone knitters that would do the boring parts of the sweater, like the stockinette after we split for the sleeves. So we'll do all the yokes, right?
No, but you need those. You need those, like for coffee shop knitting or.
Yes, that's true too. Because if, had I had some coffee shop knitting this week, then that might not have been such a frustrating visit yesterday. But oh goodness, Sharon said that she bought that one as well.
I know.
Oh, it's absolutely beautiful. Absolutely
anyway, like
beautiful.
I said, I have my yarns picked out for it, but they're at Jacqueline's. But she's coming home this weekend. So
Johnny says that the list is so long from watching this podcast that they're going to have to live to be 115. Well, yeah, we're right there with you.
I have to live longer than that, believe me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So,
okay. Let's.
Did you buy anything?
Well, I didn't buy anything, but
you did.
I bought something, but I didn't go there to buy it myself. So as Noelle mentioned earlier, Debbie from the Loving Path had an open house this weekend in London, and we had bought some of her Merlin yarn in Montreal. Noelle has already. No, you haven't.
Yeah,
Did you
yeah.
already? Yeah, you have. Which sweater was
I
that?
knit the haiku.
That's right. That's right.
Yes.
So she's already knit hers up. I have not knit mine. Mine is a gorgeous teal blue. I have plans for it. Don't worry. But anyway, we really love the base. So we decided that maybe we needed to do a little pit stop. So I've had this cough and this sore throat. I actually was a little bit concerned I was going to end up with that strep throat. There seems to be a little epidemic of strep going around again. I haven't had strep. I don't remember the last time I had strep, but my throat was really sore. Now I just think I have a summer cold. Kind of comes and goes. It didn't really develop. But anyway, so I didn't go. Noelle went with Jacqueline.
Mm-hmm.
And we got some. So the one that I got, I'm just looking to see if there's actually a name on here. I don't know that there is.
It is. It's called the Loving Path.
Okay. Well, then that makes sense because I keep reading. Why does it say the Loving Path if it says it on the front of the tag? So this yarn is called the Loving Path, and it is the 90% superwash merino, but it has 10% linen. And we like that 10% linen because it stabilizes the stretch on the superwash.
Yeah.
Look at this. Look at this.
I know.
How gorgeous is this? There are these amazing little pops of this beautiful gold. Let me just try. Oh, here's one. Look at this. Look at that. How pretty is that? So I got 2 skeins for a summer top. Look at that. Noelle called me from there and she's like, here's the wall. Which one do you like? And I did pick one that I liked. And then she said, no, I think you'd like this one. What about this one? And she's not wrong. And this is on a gray base. And that's really nice too. So this is going to be an absolutely beautiful sweater. And what did you get?
Okay. Well, I got 2 skeins of this. So this was, she had a sweater done in this in Montreal, and I really liked the color of it, but she didn't have any more of this color there. So this color is called The Last Goodbye. And it's kind of like brownish burgundy. Anyway, just really pretty. And that's all I was going to buy. But there was pink there that I just couldn't leave it there. So then I bought this, and it's bright. It is bright. This is called Hot in the City.
And it is.
Almost blowing out there.
Yes.
But I got 2 of those. And then I'm thinking, you know what? The stuff I bought from Sonder Yarns is probably almost this color, but it's not. Look, totally different.
Oh, yeah, totally different. Totally different. If you wore that sweater one week and you wore the other one the next week, everybody would say it's a totally different color pink.
No, but
nobody would say it's a different color pink.
It's very close. Just by itself, and then this one I think I'm going to combine with that chartreusey green color.
Oh yes, that would be beautiful.
Top. So that one will be nice with that. So, and yeah, this is like this yarn I love for summer tops, and yeah, and that's the same yarn that Jacqueline got, but she got hers kind of in it's kind of like a light taupey pinky, like neutrally colored that suits her perfectly. So, but she got the same yarn. So she's either going to do the rocket tee or the Surrey shirt.
Very nice. Very nice.
But it just feels so nice. And someone had asked if this color is similar a little bit. This is kind of a little bit similar to the Slow, but it's just a hint more on the brownish side. But there are purples in there when you see it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So, yeah.
But
so anyway. Deb says to remind us when it comes out. And I think she's talking about the wheat sweater. Don't worry, Deb. We'll remind you. It will be on our needles the week it comes out. I guarantee it. Exactly. Absolutely. And Sharon, yes, the Coast is softer than Super Soft because it is the cotton wool. It may be the softest that Holst has. Oh, no, that's not true because they have Haya and Titicaca is very soft. But as far as a sweater, like I cannot tell you enough how much I love my sweaters that have Coast in it. I have the Ranunculus and then the Coutarti, and I reach for those again and again and again. I like the soft things. I like the soft things.
It's definitely the softest of their fingering weight yarns.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's softer than the Tides and the
Super Soft for sure.
Because it's lamb's wool. It's lamb's wool and cotton. Whereas I think that the Super Soft has Shetland yarn in there.
I believe it does. I think you're right.
Yeah, I think it's merino and Shetland. but I know that the super soft is lamb's wool and cotton. So it is much softer. I think it might not say that on the ball band, but I think it might say it on the website. So, but definitely the coast, it softens up even more once you block it, but it's a lot softer to work with than the super soft.
Soft on the hands when you're working. You're right. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So Julie says one is Barbie pink and one is hot pink. Hot pink.
And I already have a neon pink. So.
Okay, I wanted to go back. I had started this earlier in the show. Judy had asked a question. How do we attach a new skein of mohair in the round? I know what I do. When I am running out of my mohair, and then I bring my new ball in and I double them up. So happen to have a little ball of mohair here and only one ball, not two. So let's just say you had your two ends like this, right? And say they were both mohair. See two ends? So here's what I do. Because mohair is so light, I don't worry about the weaving in. I don't do any of that. I just put two of them side by side like that, kind of in tandem. And I will knit 5 or 6 stitches together. And then I just keep going with the new one. And then I just gently afterwards, I'll go in and I'll just weave the mohair back in the other direction. The mohair is so grabby. Once it's in there with the fiber, it's never going anywhere anyway. Yeah. And because it is always held with something, it doesn't back out at all.
I just start the new one and sew the ends in when I'm done.
Yeah.
Because the ends are so easy. And usually it's not that often that I'm using a mohair just on its own. I'm usually holding it with something. So then even when you switch it, you've got the other yarn to kind of weave the mohair strand into when you're done. So, and you don't really see it from the other side. But if I can, I try to do any of my joins either like at a side seam or somewhere in the pattern where, there's a difference in the texture of the stitch. So then you can't see anything at all. But if not, the mohair is probably one of the easiest ones to kind of join in because you really can't see it behind the fabric. So
Tammy said that she got to the loving path after you and she bought wool for the elf mail. Also on my list. I will make the elf
and that's another sweater until you see it. Like it wasn't, that sweater did not.
It did not sing to me.
From the pattern.
Absolutely not. I know.
Yeah. So.
And Jackie said that you're going to have to get some rose-colored glasses, and then everything is pink, and you won't be tempted.
Then I'll buy everything.
You buy all the yarn. Yes. Norma's asking, where do we see your whips?
Show notes.
That's where our list is.
Yep.
And then we put our projects in Ravelry as well.
Yep. Well, yeah, and the show notes will link it to the Ravelry page. So.
Okay.
All right. And Lori was asking about other options for backwards loop cast on. You can do a cable cast on. You kind of got to turn it around and do it. Maybe we should leave that for next week and do some research.
We can do that.
Yeah. So
we can do that. Okay.
We probably better quickly talk about our knit-alongs.
Absolutely. Okay. I'll go find some banners for you.
Okay, so first one is our sock knit along. And actually next week we will be drawing prizes because we are almost at the end of June. So if you've got any socks that are almost finished, get them in there. So our sock knit along goes from the beginning of the year till the end of the year. We draw prizes every month, and one is a pattern prize by Natalie from Remembrances Pottery. And then we also have a sock yarn prize. We go right back to the beginning of the year for draws. So the more pairs of socks you get in there, the more chances you have to win. And all you have to do is finish them. It doesn't matter when you started them. So that's our first one. Our second one is our Smash Your Stash. And for the Smash That Stash, all you have to do is knit 50 grams of yarn from your stash into a finished project. Stash is yarn that was acquired on or before December 31st, 2022. And for that one, we have quarterly prizes, which we will be doing a quarterly prize next week too.
We will. It's a big prize week.
It is. And the prize is a sandy bag so that we're not adding to your stash. We're just giving you a place to put your stash. And so, at the end of the year, we will have a grand prize that we will draw from everybody that has entered a finished project in the Smash That Stash Cal in each of the 4 quarters.
And I would show it to you, but it's on the other side of the room. I'll have it out for next week so I can show it off.
When we draw the prize.
Absolutely.
Then our Burra Cal or our Marie Wallen Cal, it's going for the whole year too. It's in conjunction with several other podcasts with 3-ply, Around the Table Yarns, Dude Knits, Frivolous and Frugal, Got Whips, Magpie's Cottage, Pandemic Knitter, and PJ Knits. The rules in the different groups might be slightly different, so you need to check out their information in order to find out what theirs are. But for us, you just have to make a Marie Wallen or a Susan Crawford pattern, and there's a finished object thread on Ravelry, and we will draw prizes at the end of the month. And I have to get working on my Burra Cal so that it's finished.
I have to get working on my hat because I said
So,
I would make a hat, so I have to get going on that too.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
One thing I want to say is I'm sorry, Trudy, if you commented back in here and let me know which bag, I didn't see it.
She did. She wanted the vintage
bag. Okay, thank you. I asked you to do that and then I lost track. The vintage bag. Okay. All right, friends. So just remember too, after tonight's podcast, you can go down below as you're leaving us the thumbs up. Thank you. And put in a comment and just let us know what you're knitting on this summer. And that will be for a chance to win. Get that out of the way. This beautiful bag, which is the modern purse bag, modern bag.
Modern bag.
Modern bag. And okay, I have one thing that I want to leave with people this week. It resonated with me. I already shared it with Noelle yesterday. And it wasn't the whole, I'm not going to leave the whole thing about why people cry because that was like science mystified for me, why I have so many tears. But anyway, I'm going to leave this with you because this really spoke to me. The words that you speak become the house you live in. And one of the things that I try very hard in my life is just to be kind because I really think the world would be a better place if we were all just kind. It takes literally so very little effort to be kind, like to be complimentary, to be just sharing of yourself and sharing of those good comments that bring people up instead of letting people feel down. So this one really spoke to me yesterday. I posted in my Instagram stories because it kind of stuck with me. So I will leave that thought to have a wonderful week.
Yeah. And take care, everybody. I guess there's some holidays coming up, Canada Day, 4th of July. So lots of great knitting time in there.
Yes. An extra day of knitting time. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. And I hope that you are able to spend some time if you're in, I guess, a hemisphere that has the summer weather that we're having, I hope that you are able to get your knitting outside and spend some lovely time outside. There's just something to be said. I was out. I like to get outside as much as I can in the summer for knitting. We have a lot of birds and wildlife in our backyard. My goodness. And there's just something so amazing about being out there and just listening to those sounds. And of course, I was out there Sunday morning, enjoying a lovely morning with the birds, feeding my squirrels. And then the neighbor decided he should mow his grass. It's 8:30 in the morning, friends. Come on. There should be a bylaw against that. Don't interrupt until at least 10.
Anyway.
Thank you, Julia. I see that comment. Okay, well, take care, everyone.
Take care, everybody. Have a great week.
Lovely of you to come and spend some time with us on a Tuesday night, highlight of our week.
And we'll see everybody next week. Happy knitting.